Follow Paddy Power on Snapchat. The username is @ThePaddyPower, and we promise there won't be any boring snaps about gigs, the weather or the gym.
Welcome along to the Racing Post Weekend Football Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and I'm joined this week by Mark Langdon and James Milton from the Racing Post Football Desk. So, International Week, teams fine-tuning their preparation for Russia 2018, which is now a matter of 12 weeks away, I think. Very exciting. So we've got loads of friendlies. Now, obviously, you know, when we normally do the games and the lads take you through Newcastle versus Palace and what have you, you've got your own opinions, but you'd like to hear what the boys have said. What we've got here is a lot of teams who, you know, you do need to know what these guys are about if you're having a bet this weekend. So hopefully Mark and James will be crammed full of all the key info on Costa Rica, South Korea, Hungary and various other obscure countries before we get stuck into the matches this weekend. We'll do the 6 questions. It's 3 each because, it's just you two guys. So, and then we'll do the one you wish you answered. So we'll rattle through these. Mark, before you answer the who goes down, I'll read you out the Paddy Power latest relegation prices. 1 to 200 West Brom, they look doomed. 2 to 5 Stoke, they're in trouble. 13 to 8 Huddersfield, third favourites to be relegated. 2 to 1 West Ham, 23 to 10 Southampton. 4 Swansea, 11 to 2 Palace, and 14 Bar. First of all, what is it? Any what from what?
I still think it's any 2 from about sort of 7, isn't it? I mean, you're not going to need that many more points if you say Swansea, but you have still got to get that sort of 1 or 2 wins to make you safe. I think Stoke probably will go down. I wouldn't be rushing to back the 2 to 5 now, but they've got some difficult fixtures and they haven't really done anything all season. 6 wins all season long. I think it's out of Huddersfield and West Ham, in my opinion, and I think maybe at the bigger price. And I still almost can't believe it will happen to West Ham, the stadium they've got and that kind of thing. But you have to look at the home games they've got coming up with Stoke and Southampton. They feel like absolute must win. And the way the crowd is at the moment, and maybe the breaks come at a good time just to sort of to dampen any kind of sort of festerings, really. I do wonder, if they've not got home advantage, then what are they going to do? And at least Huddersfield are kind of, I don't think they're very good, but they are tuned in to a relegation battle. And I'm just not sure that West Ham are, even now. They've sort of sleepwalked back into this relegation picture, and I'm not sure they'll get themselves out of it.
I mean, Mark, it was so bad apparently that game against Burnley. We've got, obviously, there's plenty of hammers up here, and those that went, they said it was really, really awful. I mean, if they've got Southampton next at home, if they go 1-0 down there,
exactly, it'll all come
how
back.
on earth are you going to control the crowd?
Yeah,
I mean, it's 50,000 angry West Ham fans.
It is. I mean, I bumped into one, actually, mate's a season ticket holder. I was coming back from QPR where I'd done Team in Focus, and I said, I saw the score, I said, he must have been terrible. He said, we played all right for an hour until Ashley Barnes scored a really good goal. West Ham had been the better team, but the way that they collapsed, it doesn't bode well, does it?
Everyone plays well against Burnley and no one beats them. They are the most extraordinary team. They really are. Righto, James Milton. Let's turn our attention to England. There's now, I guess, 4 names in the frame. Who is going to play in goal for the first England game in the World Cup?
Well, hopefully not Joe Hart. I mean, Southgate's kind of fudged the issue there by going mob-handed with 4 goalkeepers for these friendlies. But there is just no justification on recent form, or even kind of going back kind of 3-4 years form for Hart to be there. The difficulty is that the keepers he's got are playing for teams who've kind of struggled defensively. But I'd possibly edge towards Jordan Pickford, but I don't think it's a terrific crop at the moment, really.
I tell you what, they were betting on it last year. I know I backed Pickford at 10 to 1 with someone, and I thought, Christmas time, I thought it was looking fairly comfortable. It's actually a good betting heat, this, isn't it?
It
really
is,
good.
yeah.
Someone should be pricing it up. No question about it. I guess, James, it just depends. Because what I don't get, and I made this point in my column recently, club sides are picked on their form at that particular moment.
Yeah.
No club manager would ever say, well, last August he was playing really well.
Yeah.
And yet Southgate is one of these guys who you fear has this kind of loyalty bug
There's almost, I mean,
woven
the
into it.
kind of idea of international pedigree is massively
bollocks.
overstated because it's such a small sample size, isn't it? You know, they only get together for however many meaningful games a year. And also the ones who've kind of come up through the system and played for the under-19s, under-20s, whatever. And they, you know, I think you see it in cricket as well. The ones who've come through the system, I think, are probably given a lot more opportunities than some guy who's been, you know, not been recognised, but has been doing well down at Somerset or somewhere like that.
That was amazing because McTominay wasn't picked up by anybody as sort of a youth player, was he? And so then there then becomes this massive scramble, sort of really late on.
He's 21.
Yeah. So like that probably. That kind of, you know, you earn your reputation, sort of the under-17s, 19s, and that sticks with you for a long time.
Yeah, you get a huge amount of credit in the bank for.
So, James, your answer is you think it should be Pickford, but you're quite concerned it might be Hart.
Yeah, I don't see how it can be Hart, really. I think Southgate will see sense. But
OK, Mark, this is a bit of an antagonistic question, for which apologies, it's nothing personal. But if we're looking at next season's Premier League, how many big names will leave Spurs this summer?
I reckon one. I think they've probably got it in their heads now.
That includes manager.
Yeah, see, I mean, I'm quite pleased that, from a Spurs fan point of view, that Zidane's picked up again at Real Madrid. I mean, he's been linked with Bayern Munich. I don't see that necessarily being the one for him. Paris Saint-Germain, slightly concerning because he used to play for them and he speaks quite pleasantly when he's talking about them. But I'm not sure that with that Neymar controlling the dressing room like that, I think it's a horrible job for anybody, because if Neymar, who this week the Brazilian press were saying doesn't like the fact that Paris Saint-Germain travel by coach to so many away games and thinks they need to fly and get the I mean, if you've got somebody to that extent running the dressing room, I think Pochettino would really struggle actually to get his ideas across. He likes to work with kind of unestablished players and force them to be what he wants. I mean, Real Madrid is just impossible for anybody to turn down. I think really, particularly if you are, Latin American. I mean, it becomes the obvious task. So I'm pretty confident that Pochettino will stay.
So who's going to go then?
I think Alderweireld will definitely leave, and I think they'll look to probably sell one a year. I think that will be the plan. I mean, does Danny Rose count as a big name anymore?
Not really, no. You'd
I
almost have to Google him,
yeah,
wouldn't you?
yeah.
So
you'd probably only get 50 million for him.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't.
What would you get for Alderweireld?
Well, I think they'd be wanting around about that figure, because if the problem is if he stays another year, a release clause comes in that he can then leave for like 20 million or something.
But you've been reasonably Alderweireld proof lately, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, they're a better team with him in there, no doubt about it, because Sanchez is still learning his trade alongside Vertonghen, and if one of those gets injured, they are struggling as well. But
so back at the new lane then, Mark, you're pretty confident, are you, that it'll be roughly the same personnel and it'll be full steam ahead, yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Why not?
Have you got yourself a season ticket for next year?
No.
You're not doing that?
I've got out of the habit of going regularly, really. I like to just pick and choose the odd game, then you're not tied into, going to watch them against, Huddersfield on a Tuesday night or whatever.
Fair enough. James, what have we got for you? OK, another one for you. Will Wenger leave in the summer? Will this finally be the summer when he goes?
I don't think he will, actually. I just all the what's the phrase? The mood music coming out of the Emirates suggests that I think he's made up his mind. Well, I don't think he was ever in doubt in his mind. So no, there's just no one there who's going to actually make the decision.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
March into his office,
superb.
and he just will go on his own terms, and I mean the Europa League is obviously
they're runners now for that,
if
aren't
they win that.
If they win that, then he's got another 10 years.
And so he should as well. OK, so you think Wenger in, right? OK, Mark, whose side are you on, Luke Shaw or Mourinho?
Luke Shaw in this one. Yeah, I mean, because he's, in my opinion, he's picking on him now, and it's not a case of Luke Shaw, he's not good enough for Manchester United. Maybe he's not, but. He's the first one that he calls out all the time. And a little while ago he was saying how well he was playing, and then he dropped him for the next game. And it just feels like he's using him as some kind of example. And he's not the only. He does it to Martial as well. Sanchez can have 8 bad games.
Sanchez has had probably 8 bad games.
And,
what a poor start he's made, hasn't he?
He has been a really poor start. I mean, I think they're still struggling to work out where he needs to play in that team, because obviously if he plays wide, Mourinho wants his wide players to track back. And I mean, I think Sanchez probably feels at this stage of his career he should be a goal scorer and, you know, influencing in the final third. But I'm on Luke Shaw's side, most definitely. I mean, Mourinho's picked on people before. I mean, you know, the Chelsea physio got it, didn't she?
Yeah.
You know, previously.
I just wonder. I was trying to sort of see if there is the potential that just Luke Shaw isn't, you know, doing it and that he's asking for trouble, but. If not, it seems pretty crazy, doesn't it, to dig him out like this all the time.
I mean, if he's not playing well, then don't play him. It feels like he sort of wants to play him, and then just so he can give him 45 minutes worth of abuse, haul him off, and then blame him for the team's performance.
He's looking a little bit.
Oh, he is.
Tubby,
I'm sure it's not. You know, he's obviously not doing what Jose Mourinho wants, and we saw with Paul Pogba. If you don't do exactly what Mourinho wants, then you're not in the team. But I do, it's sort of chicken and egg, you know, like, I mean, I think Shaw's been beaten up so many times by Mourinho that he's almost given up. I mean, there's these stories going around that Pochettino used to go round to his house and just sit with his mum and dad and Luke Shaw and just chat to him and play badminton with him.
What, to Jose's house?
No, yeah, can you imagine that? Well, Jose's house is the Lower, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
he
stays
the Lower.
Hotel,
So,
yeah.
I mean, some players maybe need a different way of being treated, and maybe Luke Shaw is just somebody that Jose Mourinho hasn't got the patience to deal with. But I mean, there's ways and means of doing it, and this doesn't feel like a fair way.
A game of badminton could sort it all out. Okay,
maybe not
and,
now.
James Milton, how pleased are you that in future friendlies won't actually be friendlies? They'll count for something. It's great, isn't it, really? I was thinking about this. This is the last rubbish, boring interruption, meaningless, because I'm actually going to give this new, what's it called? The
Nations League.
I'm actually going to give this a chance. I'm going to embrace this until I get bored with it. But it could be quite good, couldn't it, James?
I think they definitely needed some kind of framework there, because, as you say, otherwise it is just a string of meaningless one-off games. So, I mean, you know, reading through the criteria and permutations, it is a bit of a brain-frazzling exercise.
You're going to leave it to the mathematicians?
I'll get the abacus out. But yeah, they definitely needed to kind of organise it a bit better. Whether, you know, you just have to wait and see whether the intensity of the matches increases. But yeah, something had to be done. I was sounding like a caller to TalkSport there.
Absolutely. Thank you, James from Forest Hill. Right, let's get stuck into the matches.
Check out Paddy's Rewards Club. Simply place 5 bets of £10 or more across any sport in a week, and you'll get a free £10 bet then next week. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
OK then, so the first batch of international games. There's 2 rounds of matches for most countries. This taking place either early this weekend and early next week before we resume the domestic action next weekend. Anyway, the first one is Turkey versus the Republic of Ireland. It's on RTE2. Paddy Power bet 5-6, the Turks. 16-5, the boys in green, and 21-10, the draw. Mark Langdon, have you got any inspired betting advice for us
I thought
here?
Turkey were okay in this game. I mean, you have a look at some of them. I mean, Çalhanoğlu is playing really well for Milan at the moment. So is Cengiz Ünder at Roma. Cenk Tosun has started to score goals for Everton. Unal Enes-Unal, who was at Manchester City, now at Villarreal, got 2 goals against Atletico at the weekend. So I think that they're in sort of better shape, really, than an Ireland team that I always think is better when they're kind of scrapping rather than this friendly that means nothing to them. You know, they've lost 3 of their last 5 friendly matches, and like I say, if it just comes down to a technical ability game, you take Turkey, really, because Ireland are a team that need to make the game ugly, and that doesn't tend to happen as much in friendlies as when there's, you know, points at stake.
OK, Ireland without the fight is not the same Ireland, is it, James? So
No,
who do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that trying to bounce back from that playoff disappointment against Denmark. They thought they had a decent result in the first leg when they drew 0-0, despite having 28% of possession, which, as Mark alludes to, is a kind of archetypal O'Neill performance, and then got thumped 5-1 at home in the second leg. So you know, they're kind of patching themselves up a bit. I did notice actually 4 of their last 5 friendlies have had over 2.5 goals, which is slightly unexpected stat, but that could be the way to go. I mean, Turkey Mark's mentioned that I've got some exciting attacking players. Under at Roma particularly has been very impressive this season. They have conceded 10 goals in their last 4 games. Lost 3-2 at home to 10-man Albania in their last friendly. So
not an easy
I think
game.
no. I think there will be goals in this game. Possibly all from Turkey, but yeah, over 2.5 looks fair
Okay,
enough.
excellent. See, the boys have done their homework. These are pearls coming at you. Right, 7:45. Netherlands versus England, and I vowed to start calling them Netherlands because I didn't realise just how much of the country isn't Holland. So I used to think, oh, get lost with your petty little sort of Netherlands. But I think, what's the house style at the moment, Mark?
Holland.
Is it? Should we change it?
I was doing my research, searching online on a football stats website and putting in Holland and just coming up with like Matt Holland's career stats. There's no reference to
talking of Matt Holland, there's that story, one of the posh papers that did a spell check, isn't there, for Holland to change it all to Netherlands. And Matt Holland was referred to as Matt Netherlands.
Yeah, we've got to be slightly careful. There was soccer base, haven't we? Yeah, Matt Netherlands. This is Talk Sport on a Friday night. Matt Netherlands with Mickey Quinn. Okay, so right, what's going to happen when Netherlands play England? 6-4, by the way, the hosts. 21-10 the draw, 9-5 the 3 Lions.
Yeah, 2 ways I was looking at it. I mean, if you like to bet on the Asian handicap, I thought England in receipt of a 0.25 goal start, so you win half your stake if it's a draw. It's not a bad way to go if you want to play it sort of more simple than maybe the under 2.5 goals. Because I was looking at Holland's squad and all their quality. The Netherlands squad, it all seems to be the quality is definitely in the defensive third. De Vrij plays for Lazio and is about to move to possibly Inter. Obviously Van Dijk is another one in there.
Fosu-Mensah, Van Aanholt.
Yeah, they're in there. I'm not sure if they'll definitely play. Ronald Koeman, first game, and for him in charge there. But if you have a look at the goals in the team, I'm not sure where they're coming from. Their highest scorers on 8 goals. That's Memphis Depay and Gigi Wijnaldum. And England, of course, are without Harry Kane. So it looks to me to be a low-scoring game in the offing. But I'm not sure England will lose the game. I was a bit surprised they're outsiders.
So England just to edge it for you?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
How about you, Milts?
Yeah, I was going one or both teams not to score, actually. I mean, Mark's mentioned the Dutch options up front and Bas Dost, who scores tons of goals in Portugal, but it doesn't look quite top class. Justin Kluivert, the wild card, the teenager. And England's last 4 games, I'm sure you remember them vividly. 1-0 wins over Slovenia and Lithuania, and then goalless friendly games against Germany and Brazil. So, I'm not expecting a classic again. Harry Kane, the one class act, not going to be there. England's forwards, kind of Welbeck, Jamie Vardy, who's obviously in very good form. He's 11-2 to score first. That might be an option. But yeah, I think one or both teams not to score. Plenty of question marks over both sides' creativity.
Absolutely. Okay, it's 7:45. The Patriots will be watching the Netherlands v England, but I think the purists will be watching Germany v Spain on BT Sport 3. 13-10 Germany, 23-10 the draw, 9-5 Spain. This should be a decent game. I mean, we don't quite know at what pace it will be. I don't suppose it would be 90 miles an hour. It could be more like 70 or even 65, couldn't it? James, what do you think the bet is here?
I'm tempted by the draw here. It seems to be quite a big runner in these sort of marquee friendlies. England obviously drew 0-0 with Germany and Brazil. Germany drew 2-2 with France in those November friendlies as well. And both squads looking pretty strong. I don't think obviously it's an important game in the build up to the finals. Spain's last friendly actually was a 3-3 draw with Russia when they got 2 penalties, which I suspect won't see many teams this summer getting 2 penalties against Russia. But it's obviously an enticing fixture. But yeah, the draw is the bet for me.
Leo?
Yeah, I've got the draw as well. Germany have drawn 4 of their last 5 friendlies. That includes ones with Italy and England and Denmark and France. And you have a look at the as far as Spain go, they're unbeaten since the since their disappointing European Championship campaign, I think you can say. I mean, they were eventually beaten, by Italy, and they got beat by Croatia, didn't they? I think they've turned the corner though from that, and they've had 3 draws in their last 5 friendly matches as well. So I mean, I don't think it'll be played at full pace, and it's a sort of game where it's just going to be. I'd like to see this in the World Cup.
Absolutely. Well, I saw it in the World Cup in 2010, the semi-final. It was I was in Durban. It was one of the biggest privileges of my sporting life to be there. A fantastic game. 15 fouls in the whole game, which is absolutely unheard of. It was absolutely superb. It was really, really good. And if those 2 teams clash in the latter stages of the World Cup, then I will certainly not be missing that. 7:45. Scotland versus Costa Rica. It's on Sky Sports Football. 11-10 the Scots, 21-10 the draw, and 5-2 Costa Rica. Mark, who's Costa Rica's most famous player these days? The goalie?
Yeah, I mean, Keylor Navas probably, but I think probably Brian Ruiz is probably still their most famous, because outfield players always seem to get the glamour. But Joel Campbell not in the squad.
Where's he these days?
He's in Spain, but he's coming back from his latest injury. He's been really struggling with injuries. So that's pointing me towards under 1.5 goals in this game, which has copped him 7 of Costa Rica's last 10 friendly matches. It's around about 9-5 mark. So I mean, you're getting a decent price about it. They've only won 1 of their last 7 games, Costa Rica. And then I had a look at the Scotland squad. Their top goal scorer is Matt Ritchie on 3.
Has Big Eck rung the changes?
He has, yeah. I mean, there's no the likes of Fletcher's not there, Lee Griffith's not there, Chris Martin.
Did you pick Jimmy Mack?
He didn't jump out at me. I was looking at the forwards because it's McBurney or Cummings up front. I think for Scotland for this game, it doesn't inspire great confidence, even though McBurney's doing quite well out on loan in the Championship and got a great name as well to play for Scotland.
I just still have him as a product in McDonald's. Just a McBurney with barbecue sauce. I don't know why. I've never ever not thought of that.
But yeah, you mentioned Costa Rica got a great goalkeeper. I think this could be a low scoring
under 1.5. Okay, James, what's your verdict?
Yeah, it's not a game for huge stakes, I don't think, this one. Obviously, Alex McLeish's first game of his second spell in charge. Scotland were unbeaten in 7 before they lost 1-0 to Holland in their last game. But as Mark says, it does look low scoring. I think probably Matt Ritchie is one of the few players on either side coming into the game with a bit of confidence, a bit of goal scoring run. Scored in 2 of his last 3 for Newcastle. They got the winner against Man United. And as Mark says, he is the leading goal scorer in Scotland's squad, slightly kind of by default with 3, but 3 goals in 12 international starts.
I've seen the Racing Post preview that's already been done for this game, heavy mentions of Italia 90 and all that brings up.
Both managers were playing in that famous game.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Big Eck, another one who you've done a radio show with in the past, and he realised before they got to the first ad break that you knew more about football than him. I must say, it was a very good broadcast. Let's look at Saturday's fare. 2 o'clock, Northern Ireland versus South Korea. It's on something called Free Sports. What's that?
It's the free sports channel of Premier Sports. So it's on Sky.
What number?
In the 450s, I think, maybe
Okay.
430s. It's
right.
they show a fair amount of sort of mid-level football and NHL and stuff like that.
Sounds like the
it's
sort of
worth
thing to have a
locating.
little flick next time you're sitting there with
Definitely.
a kebab. And
Definitely.
loose
Yeah,
end,
if you like your ice hockey particularly.
All right, okay, I don't. 13-8 Northern Ireland, 17-10 South Korea, 15-8 the draw. So the bookies aren't expecting an expansive contest based on that. What do you think we might get, James?
Yeah, I mean, Northern Ireland, obviously that playoff disappointment against Switzerland, very cruel penalty, but I mean, overall, I don't think they had a shot on target in the home leg, and Switzerland had plenty of chances in the second leg as well. So I don't think they were that hard done by in the whole context of the tie. It's difficult to see where the goals are coming from, except for during this morning's research, South Korea's Kim Shin-wook, who plays in the K-League, and he's got 10 goals in about 40 caps, I think, but 7 of those have come in his last 6. So he's really really discovered his shooting boots. And
what's his name again, James?
Kim Shin-wook.
Wook, okay.
And he is 3-1 to score at any time.
Right, well played. Good research. Lango, what's your view of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I've just taken the best player on the pitch by an absolute mile to score the open. That's Heung-min Son at 6-1. I mean, he has been fantastic for Tottenham, both in the Premier League and the Champions League.
He has been, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He really has.
I mean,
And when you think of those people cynically saying he was just there to sell shirts when they brought him, he's been fantastic. Hasn't he?
I mean, I think he's forced his way into Pochettino changing the formation because he struggled to get in when they played the three at the back. So Alderweireld's injury and probably subsequent sale will help Son out no end. And actually, South Korea have been looking at how they can get the best out of him as well. And he played up front in a 4-4-2 in the November friendlies and got both the goals against Colombia. And I just look at this game, nobody really on the Northern Ireland team that stands out in terms of goals. So it should be a low-scoring game, which I think is reflected in those 90-minute prices. And 6-1 that Sonny delights his backers with the openers. Good enough for me.
Who have South Korea got in their World Cup group, Mark?
Yeah, South Korea are in with... It's a pretty. It's a group where they're not going to qualify. I've got them to finish outside of the top two. It's Germany, it's Mexico and Sweden.
Oh, tough.
Yeah, I've got them finishing bottom of that group.
Okay, domestic action. There's a live game on Sky at 5:15 on Saturday night, and it's Luton Town versus Barnet. It's 1-2 Luton, 16-5. The draw 5-1 Barnet with Mad Dog Martin Allen in charge for about the 18th time. Now, Mark, Luton Town must be causing you all sorts of anxiety,
yes,
aren't they?
They are.
Is that right? They haven't won any of the last 5?
Yeah, I think was it one winning about 7, something like that. It's Devon Lock style collapse from about 10s on to win the league at one stage, not helped by the fact that Accrington have won 12 or 14 games, 11 or 13, which for a team that went off around about 11-8 to win at Barnet.
Full credit to Accrington.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 23rd in the budget table. They're 23rd in League Two.
Incredible.
So they've still got a harder run in than Luton. I think Luton -1 on the Asian handicap. I think they'll give Barnet a right good seeing to here.
Where's it gone wrong?
For Luton, away from home mainly. They've really struck. I think Nathan Jones is quite a negative manager away from home. Don't think he goes. I mean, at home, of course, they've scored 8s and 7s and stuff like that. Away from home, he's always been of the opinion that draw's not a bad result. And I think when you're going for the title, maybe you need to be a bit more aggressive. I actually went to the reverse fixture of this. That Barnet won 1-0 back in August, a nothing game really. Again, a bit like what I was saying, where Luton were happy enough with the draw. And then I saw Barnet again at the weekend when they didn't have a shot on target against Wickham. No surprise that Graham Wesley got the sack after that game. It was 8-0 in shots on target to Wickham. Like I said, I think Luton will win this one. They've won 13 of 19 at home. They've struggled against the better teams in the division, but they've absolutely funked nearly everybody else.
What's the bet then?
-1 on the Asian.
-1. So they've got to win by 2.
If they win by 1, you get your money back on the
on the
Asian
Asian,
handicap.
sorry,
So that's the way I'll be going.
James, what's your betting poison here?
I'm expecting, like Mark, that Luton really should get back to winning ways here. I mean, it has been an amazing collapse. 9 points clear, I think, and Accrington have just done superbly to overhaul them there. Dan Potts, the Luton defender, is my anytime bet here. He's about 13-2. He got the equaliser at Newport last time out. That was his 7th goal of the season. He actually had a couple of efforts cleared off the line in the big game at home to Accrington when Luton got done by a late goal from Billy Keir, 2-1 defeat. So he's a big threat from set pieces, I think, and yeah, you have to expect the way Barnet have been playing that Luton are going to have the lion's share of the chances and going to be getting plenty of set pieces in dangerous areas.
Just quickly, Bruce, where you said where's it gone wrong? Luton have conceded some unbelievably brilliant goals. Like Cheltenham scored from about 40 yards. That Billy Key one was from a long way out as well. So they've been a little bit unlucky with that kind of stuff.
I lost to an ACCA the other night from a goal by a guy playing for Hartlepool. Did you see
saw
it?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
Goodness, what a finish.
He won the Search for a Star competition when he got a contract at Chelsea.
Did he really?
Yeah, I've forgotten his name.
See why now. It's an amazing goal. Right, let's get the weekend best bets.
This will not be beaten.
Okay, James, you go first.
I'm going for Coventry to beat struggling Grimsby in League Two. Cov have won 3 of their last 4 in the league. The only blot on that was a 2-2 draw with Luton, which on the face of it, not a bad result. They were 2-0 up though, so could really have closed that out and made it 4 in a row. Very solid home record, and Grimsby are just in all sorts. They've taken 3 points from their last 14 matches and sliding ever closer to the bottom 2.
Okay, Mark?
Yeah, the most inappropriate manager name, I think, in football, isn't it, at the moment? Michael Jolly. Grimsby. Not really jolly there. Where it's also not jolly down at the Valley, so I'm going for Plymouth on the draw no bet. So they're about 12-5 to win the game, but I'd like the insurance of the draw no bet to beat Charlton. Charlton 1 win in 8. Cole Robinson left the club today, so it's Lee Bowyer and Johnny Jackson in charge of the game.
He's a personal friend of yours, isn't he, Johnny
Jackson?
Yeah,
I used to play football with Johnny, and I mean, I'm sure he'll be the manager sooner rather than later.
Do you ever go clubbing with Lee Bowyer?
I've never been clubbing with Lee Bowyer.
Okay.
He used to date my friend's sister, though, some time ago when he was playing for Leeds. But in terms of, Charlton have got injuries. They've also got international call-ups that's not helping them at the moment. And Plymouth have been the remarkable story. Speaking about Accrington earlier on, but Plymouth, 1 defeat in 17, 7 wins in 8.
I jumped on that bandwagon at about 50s promotion. I got half a chance.
You got a really big chance. I mean, they're in the top 6 now. I mean, you do feel like with these teams that sooner or later they are going to lose again because their only defeat was against Wigan. But, I mean, they're not getting any kind of respect really from the markets here. And like I say, Charlton look like a team in a bit of a mess at the moment.
Okay, and I'm going to go for Scunthorpe, who are 11-10 at home to Rochdale, who are obviously trying to make up ground, get themselves out of trouble with all their games in hand, but it's not working. So I think Scunthorpe at 11-10 are a decent price. Well, let's look at the competition. Well done to Michelle from Dorset, who was last week's winner. She got the question right and tweeted the answer with the hashtag Postcast. If you want to win a free £25 or €25 bet, courtesy of our sponsors, Paddy Power, do likewise. Tweet the answer to this question with the hashtag Postcast, and next Thursday we will reveal whether you've won or lost. The question is, who lost their job as Reading manager on Wednesday? We'll announce the winner on next week's show. Don't worry too much about the spelling, whether you don't know whether there's 2 A's in the Christian name or not, but we'll do it phonically if necessary. Okay, back with Sunday's games next.
Check out Paddy's Rewards Club. Simply place 5 bets of £10 or more across any sport in a week, and you'll get a free £10 bet then next week. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, welcome back. It's Bruce Millington, Mark Langdon and James Milton looking ahead to Sunday's live football matches. We've got 2 domestic games, and it's a good chance for some of the lower league teams to shine in front of the Sky cameras, starting at 1:30. Chesterfield versus Notts County. Paddy Power bet 23-10 Chesterfield, 23-10 the draw, and evens the pies. Mark Langdon, who's going to win this?
Yeah, I think Notts County a little bit short from it. I mean, Chesterfield are obviously in relegation trouble. They're in the bottom 2 at the moment, but I just think with Notts County, they're not a team that create a load of chances. And when you're back in sort of evens away from home, I like to be with a team that I fancy to be more sort of attacking in the final third. The way I was looking, Chesterfield got a decent record of scoring in home matches, and Christian Dennis is one of the best in the division. 17 goals already, one of the best minutes per goal record in League 2 as well, actually, in the Football League. So I was just looking at him to score first in a game that, like I say, I'm looking for ways to oppose Notts County, and that may be the best of them.
If Christian Dennis walked past you in the supermarket, would you say, God, that's Christian Dennis?
No.
You wouldn't know?
No.
Okay, James, what's your view on this game?
Yeah, I think Mark's right about Notts County. They seem to draw quite a lot of games away from home. Lots of 1-alls on their record, and I think both teams to score could be the bet here. I mean, Chesterfield, they have they have struggled all season, but they kind of raised their game at home, beating Luton and Swindon since the turn of the year, and they are just desperate for the points now. Both teams have scored in 5 of their last 6, and Notts County have kept 1 clean sheet in their last 14 away. So I think it could be an entertaining game, but yeah, I wouldn't be smashing into the visitors.
Okay, 4 o'clock. It's our last chance for they played for both clubs, because until England play Ivory Coast, you can't have they played for both clubs on internationals. It's Portsmouth versus Oxford. Get thinking on you they played or managed for both clubs, and I'll read the prices out from Paddy Power. 8-11 Portsmouth, 5-2 the draw, 3-1 Oxford. Have we got anyone?
I've got Appleton.
Appleton managed both clubs, didn't he?
Playing wise. I mean, there probably are lots, but I'm struggling.
Give us the verdict first, then I'll see if I can think of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this one. I mean, Oxford maybe will have a new manager in. I mean, Cole Robinson suggestion that maybe the reason he's left Charlton is to go to Oxford. So I'm a bit cautious as to what way to go in terms of the 90 minutes. Brett Pitman returned from injury last week. I was going to tip Oldham to beat Portsmouth, and I didn't because Pitman was back, and I'm glad I didn't because he was back on the score sheet. And when I went to watch Portsmouth, he came on off the bench, and he was the only player that looked like he was going to score for them. He was a massive threat. I'm going for him to score first.
Okay, didn't get a word of that because I'm trying to do. They played for both clubs. James, what do you think?
I'm going for the draw in this one, as Mark says. It's a trappy one really because of Oxford's managerial situation. They did end a poor run of results last weekend with a 2-1 home win over Peterborough. And Portsmouth's home form is really threatening to derail their playoff push. They've taken 2 points from 6 home games in 2018, so it's hard to be too optimistic about them, particularly if Oxford do officially name Robinson and hope for that new manager bounce. So yeah, the draw is the bet for me in this.
Okay, there's only one I can find, and you would never. This is like the Rumpelstiltskin if they play for both clubs. An Italian goalkeeper called Andrea Guatelli. He was with Portsmouth for 2 years but never played, and then played 4 games for Oxford on loan, and then went to Zurich. So that is impossible.
Yeah, that
He's probably still being paid by Portsmouth.
Yeah. Okay, next week's friendlies. We've got the second batch on Tuesday. We've got Hungary, Scotland, Germany, Brazil. That'll be good. England, Italy. That'll be good. And Spain, Argentina. There's some good games there. Any early thoughts, James?
Not particularly. I mean, you look at England, Italy, and a friendly, and probably no goal scorer kind of leaps out at you a bit. But no strong opinions on those games just yet.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, Italy. I've decided to keep on Buffon for these friendlies, which is quite fun. I mean, I think the under 2.5 in that one as well, because I do wonder where England's goals are going to come from without Harry Kane, who's so often been the saviour for them in that qualifying campaign. Vardy likes space to run into. Italian defences, without being too cliche, don't tend to give away much space in behind. Marcus Rashford is somebody that, I think his development has not been helped by playing under Jose Mourinho, where he's not playing every week, and when he is, it's out on the left. He may turn out to be a very good wide forward. That may be his best position, but he's not playing all the time for United, and that doesn't help him. And Danny Welbeck, I mean, he's had enough chances to show that he's not at this level, I don't think.
So we're looking at unders.
I think the unders, and that brings the draw into play. Brazil, maybe to beat Germany. Brazil tend to take their friendlies much more seriously than the Germans. Okay.
And is there a sort of, Richard Johnson would have been like 25 times champion jockey, but from McCoy. Is there an Italian goalie who would have played like 150 times had it not been for Buffon? Or is it kind of split 3 or 4 different eras?
He's spanned kind of so many generations.
Yeah, he has. He's Sirigu, somebody that ended up at Paris Saint-Germain, probably the man that's been most unfortunate, really, and he tended to play in a few of the friendlies just to give him a go. But it looks like Donnarumma could keep goal for the next 20 years when Buffon decides to pack it in. Okay, before you go, lads, I'm going to ask you very quickly where you're leaning towards on the outright for the World Cup. Paddy Power bet 9-2 Germany, 5 Brazil, 11-2 France, 6-1 Spain, 8 Argentina, 10 Belgium, 16 England, and 20 bar. James, if you had a free £20 note thrust into your hand, who would you back in?
I would probably be very boring and go for Germany, actually.
Okay, and Lango?
I'd go for Spain, because I don't think there's anything between those top 4 in the market, and Spain are the biggest price. Okay, and your 2 picks play each other, of course, on Friday night at 7:45. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, if you do enjoy us, make sure you rate, review and subscribe on iTunes. Another Racing Post football postcast next Thursday.
Follow Paddy Power on Snapchat. The username is ThePaddyPower, and we promise there won't be any boring snaps about gigs, the weather or the gym.